Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Committee Reads. I am your host KWCs, and with me today I have Alex and Joe in spirit.
But basically me.
Basically.
Joe's a vegetable.
That last match, man, did a number on him. I'm just kidding. It was the match before.
It's a Tom match, Noah. It paralyzed him.
Today we will be reading over match 110, Hedorah versus Destoroyah by Kenneth James.
Was he around during the dinosaurs?
Who? Kenneth James?
Yeah, I think he was. Because we don't see him anymore.
Yeah, he was old school writer, so...
Joe definitely got a case of the deep throating.
Gosh darn it.
Tom deep-throated Joe.
The people of Osaka fled for their lives as the shape of the smog monster, Hedorah, flew over the city searching for food. Hedorah didn't care about the tiny annoyances running below him, or the fact that a great number succumbed to his choking sulfuric mist. All he cared for was sustenance. It was quite ironic. The very creatures he cared so little were the ones that provided the very thing he loved to eat. And should his constant growth bring about the end of mankind, he himself would die from starvation. But of course, being such a simple creature, this fact escaped his mind. As Hedorah's eyes caught sight of a smokestack in the industrial district, Hedorah prepared to descend and begin feeding, only for an unearthly screech to tear into his thoughts. Before Hedorah could spin around to find the emitter of this challenge, something slammed him from above, sending the smog monster plummeting to the ground below. Destoroyah's yellow eyes gazed upon Hedorah's prone form as he himself descended from the sky. His motivation for this attack was as simple as what drew Hedorah to the city. He enjoyed it. Destoroyah at his core was a sadistic demon. Unlike most kaiju, he liked killing things. It was his entire purpose for existing. He saw Hedorah not as a bane to life on Earth, but another victim to his bloodlust. As the living oxygen destroyer approached, Hedorah's form glowed and to Destoroyah's surprise, reconfigured itself into Hedorah's adult form. Destoroyah took a step back, not from fear, but surprised that this creature could perform a similar feat to his own powers. Destoroyah took a look around, seeing the death and destruction this other entity left in its wake, and how it had done it by robbing them of their ability to breathe and reducing them to skeletons. Destoroyah quickly realized how similar he and Hedorah were, and it made him all the more enraged.
Aroused.
Destoroyah took pride in his status as the bane of life, the deadliest creature on the face of the earth, and he didn't want to share that sadistic title. Destoroyah let out a roar of fury and challenge to the smog monster, receiving a gurgling cry of acceptance from his challenge. The fight was on. Destoroyah was the first to strike, energy crackling about his frill before a beam of micro-oxygen erupted from his maw. Hedorah held his ground, but soon roared in agony as the beam struck his shoulder, destroying the oxygen making up the water in his body, leaving a dried and cracked area in its wake. Destoroyah seemed to laugh with sadistic glee at his opponent's pain, only for Hedorah to take advantage, firing a jagged red ray of energy from his eye. Destoroyah didn't react at first, believing his armor would protect him, only to let out a bellow of pain when the beam smashed into his shoulder. The beam's corrosive secondary effect actually left a painful burn on the Precambrian terror. Destoroyah let out a roar of fury, charging at this being that actually caused him harm. Hedorah held his ground. The two collided and pushed their weight against one another, until Destoroyah forced his claw into Hedorah's chest. Destoroyah seemed to smile as his clawed hand tore through his opponent's flesh, only for a roar of agony to replace it. Destoroyah quickly tore his hand free from Hedorah's torso, finding the armor on his hand melted and deformed. While his thicker hide had withstood it better than the king of the monsters himself, Destoroyah learned his lesson. Piercing Hedorah's hide wasn't a good idea. Before the killer could recover, Hedorah smacked him hard across the head with one of his amorphous hands, leaving a slight burning sensation in its wake. As Destoroyah turned his attention back to Hedorah, ignoring the pain, he received a blob of acid onto his shoulder, causing another roar of agony to emit from Destoroyah's maw as he tried desperately to wipe off the burning, unpleasant sludge, managing to do so before too much of his armor was melted away. This, however, gave Hedorah the opportunity to tackle Destoroyah to the ground, trying to smother him with his acidic body. As Hedorah attempted to force Destoroyah's head into his toxic form, he suddenly shrieked in agony as a glowing orange energy blade erupted out of his back. Hedorah pulled himself off Destoroyah's laser horn, his wound cauterized momentarily before his acid insides, this should have been acidic insides, whatever, ate away at the useless flesh and restored the whole. Destoroyah rose to his feet and, laser horn extended, sliced it down across Hedorah's body, cutting a deep slash into his hide, sending sludge flying and inflicting another cauterized wound. As Hedorah shrieked in pain, Destoroyah swung his katana around a second time. Hedorah appeared unaffected, until his head toppled off from his shoulders to the ground, his body following suit. Destoroyah shrieked in victory, taking delight in watching his seemingly dead foe collapse to the ground. Considering himself victorious, Destoroyah turned to redirect his bloodlust to the city itself, only to hear another gurgling howl from Hedorah. Shocked, Destoroyah spun around to see two smaller flying-form Hedorahs where the head and body of the original had once been. The two flew up into the air, recombining into one and dropping their sulfuric acid on Destoroyah, hoping to kill the creature as he had the humans. To his surprise, Destoroyah merely took flight, shrugging it off. Destoroyah came from an oxygen-free time period, where highly volatile gases were much more common. Compare that to the extremely hostile environment, a little sulfuric acid was nothing. Hedorah managed to dodge Destoroyah's charge and countered with his eye rays, only for the winged demon to dodge as well, firing his micro-oxygen beam in retaliation. The ray tore into Hedorah's back, causing him to roar in agony as his body was dried out, but managing to keep flying and turn tail, trying to keep Destoroyah off him long enough to counterattack, his primitive brain trying to find an effective way of killing the living oxygen destroyer when his normal methods were useless. Pass.
Destoroyah didn't give him time to think as he sent a micro-oxygen beam after him. Hedorah narrowly dodged the beam and causing it to destroy a section of the city below. Hedorah counterattacked with his eye beams, catching Destoroyah in the wing and burning it, slowing the demon down with Destoroyah's speed reduced. Hedorah spun around, firing a barrage of sludge at the Precambrian monster, the acidic slime impacting the crimson flesh and burning away Destoroyah's thick hide. Though wounded, Destoroyah refused to give up, but he was frustrated at his inability to make lasting damage to his enemy. He extended his laser horn and drove at Hedorah, intent on impaling the smog monster on it, only for Hedorah... God damn it. Fuck it. Mouse on the wheel suddenly spun up. Let's see. Where was I? Roaring in agony, the Precambrian killer tried hard to dislodge Hedorah, but found his attempts useless. Realizing it was only a matter of time until Hedorah dissolved away his winged wings, Destoroyah made the choice to launch his tail up, driving the pincer-like edge deep into Hedorah's eye. Roaring in agony, Hedorah immediately released his grip, flying away from Destoroyah. Destoroyah hovered, observing the damage to his body, armor plates flaking off his now severely burned back and falling away. His tail tip burned to the bone and severely deformed. Rage now burned in Destoroyah's black soul. Out the edge. At this kaiju that so badly wounded him and making his rage grow even hotter was the fact that none of his attacks seemed to be able to kill Hedorah off for good. He needed to finish it. He looked into the harbor, realizing that Hedorah was in no way immune to his oxygen destroyer-like power underwater. Destoroyah suddenly spun around, flying out towards the sea. Hedorah, his eye now shut, and for a moment, unable to heal, saw Destoroyah make for the ocean. Assuming Destoroyah's retreat, Hedorah also came to the realization of how the advantage of being underwater would grant him as well, and pursued his enemy. As the two flew away from Osaka and out into the bay, Destoroyah suddenly spun around, grabbing hold of Hedorah, sending both plummeting towards the water below. Reverting back to his final form, Hedorah grappled with Destoroyah, both trying to get the advantage to slam their foe into the water. Who won out was unclear as the two titans slammed into the ocean, sending a cascade of water high into the sky. Below the surface, Hedorah watched his opponent, prepared to strike, only for Destoroyah's body to vanish into a cloud of micro-oxygen. Hedorah looked around for his opponent, only to suddenly feel agony over every inch of his body, as Destoroyah assaulted him as a colony of microorganisms, dissolving Hedorah's form. Realizing what his opponent had done, Hedorah broke himself apart into a massive swarm of tadpole-like creatures. Breaking down till he matched Hedorah's size, the two swarms continued to battle it out at a microscopic stage. At the surface, humans watched the water flash and boil as the unseen battle between two armies of microbes still caused a great upheaval in the ocean surface, simply due to the sheer power each swarm possessed. But gradually, the disturbance became smaller and smaller until it stopped altogether. All that remained were fish skeletons floating to the surface in huge numbers, either the result of Hedorah's acidic sludge burning them to the bone, or Destoroyah's oxygen-destroying powers having dissolved them. Below the surface, only one of each monster survived. All others had been completely wiped out. The two microscopic creatures, monsters.
Alex, wake up!
It charged one another full speed. The two collided, Destoroyah trying to dissolve Hedorah, while Hedorah tried to smother Destoroyah with its acidic body. The two continued to struggle until finally both dissolved away to nothing. In their desire to destroy one another, both had succeeded and wiped each other off the face of the earth. Draw their offspring. Because they made a little baby.
Oh my gosh. that's how babies are made, folks.
Yep, you kill each other.
Yeah, that's how it works. I have to say, I kind of like this match. I think, like, it has I'd say compared to the last one, this one has a little more going for it.
It still holds up quite a bit. I don't want to say generic. It's, your average KWC, but it's at least memorable.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Mainly because of the unique ending it took, where both of them realize they're stronger in the water, but don't realize their opponent's stronger in the water as well. I love that premise. They're both still screwed either way, and the fact that they form into small armies is just a lot of fun, and just a very unique and awesome way to end a match. Instead of your monster, they just kill each other.
Yeah, totally.
In regular size.
Yeah, totally. I love the fact that, like, pretty much the final act when they went into the water was like a complete swarm battle between, like, the tadpoles and the microbes, and they're just, like, going at it, just completely. It's like not even their assimilated or, assembled forms. It was just two armies of tiny things just completely ravaging the ocean, destroying everything therein, up until literally their last man.
Yeah, and that's what I loved about it, that third act.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first two acts are, like, decent, you get some decent advantages and disadvantages with Hedorah and Destoroyah and their large forms. You see how they take advantage of one another. But I think what makes this match memorable is is the ending. I think this is one where the draw is completely justified. I love.
Oh yeah, that's why the draw makes the match even better. Mm-hmm. Neither of them could realistically win in this situation.
Mm-hmm. Right, and like you said earlier, like, they both had the idea of, I'm stronger in the water, but they don't realize that the other one's stronger in the water too. So it's like, yeah, that was really nice.
I love that they kill each other before realizing that their opponent's stronger in the water.
Yeah. Joe is commenting here, he says, 110 is probably one of the better similar monsters fighting each other matches. I could honestly see this fight in a comic, and I really like it. So.
Joe, implies you were lying before.
But yeah, it's like, this is one of the few matches where it's like, oh, take two monsters with similar properties and have them fight each other. It's like, this one works really well. So,
especially the draw in the third act.
So, yeah, good job, Kenneth. You have a match that holds up really nicely. So.
Definitely way better than the previous one. And probably the best one of the season so far.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Right. Out of the ones you've
very cool.
Right, out of the ones you've been in, I can say that. So,
although 103 is in second place, that one's also good.
Yeah, totally.
Oh fuck! I forgot 105. There's actually 3 good matches.
Oh yeah, 105 was actually really good. So,
yeah, those 3 matches I just said are really good.
So, but yeah, just an overall good match that just holds up really nicely. Also, I like the banner. I think there's enough. Like, there's more effects going on here. I like the explosion behind Destoroyah. I like, the Hedorah and all the... Like, there's a lot of objects placed in front of them, and,
Yeah, I love the smoke in front of Hedorah.
That, too. Like, the smoke in front of...
Yeah, it's simple, but there's effort, though.
Yes, totally. Like, there's a lot of, like, extra effort just put into it. Even if it is, like, the two standing there for the most part. I like the image of Destoroyah. It makes him look active.
Not a criticism, but for Destoroyah, it looks like he's saying, "What's up?"
What's up?
I can't be the only one who's noticed that.
I think you are the only one who's noticed that, because I never noticed that until now.
Yeah, he just looks like he's just trying to greet Hedorah. Maybe he wants to make a baby with him.
Who
They
knows?
can make the ultimate pollution baby.
Oh boy, the one that'll destroy oxygen, any pollution.
Yeah, beautiful baby. Beautiful shit baby.
Anyway, this has been match 110, and we'll see you guys next time for the season finale with match 111. Till then, folks.
Fuck. Till then, folks.
That's what I said.
Till then, folks.
Gosh darn it.